if you're out there and you're struggling with debts and they are on your throat and you do not know even what you can be able to do, and you're really struggling and you're asking yourself, okay, fine, I'm into debt. Or maybe you're about to take a loan, or should I call it a debt, maybe to invest or do something. This is a video for you. Or maybe you keep on wondering now, you're okay with your debt, but you're wondering, might it go into a place whereby I'm actually struggling with it? This is the video for you. And I dare promise you, if you dare watch this video to the end, I'm going to leave you in a situation whereby you'll be like, oh my goodness, I didn't even thought that can actually apply. Yes, it can apply. Let's get into the business. But I do have a simple request and a very small request. I just want you to like this video. Yeah, I know you love my videos and you always telling me, hey, God bless you, thank you, Joseph, I love your videos, but you don't like my videos. I realize that. Just like that video and also subscribe down below there so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new good video. All right? And you guys who are asking me where is my number is always on the description. Let's get into the business. Now, these are debts and I'm actually classifying them into 3 categories. This is what you're supposed to understand. There are 3 categories of debts so that at least you understand where is your debt. All right, let's go to the category number 1 as far as the debt is concerned. Now, this category is this type of a debt whereby you got no problem with it. You're servicing it. All right, in real sense, typically you are supposed to take a debt or a loan, go invest that loan on something that is generating cash flow. See, that debt on its own is generating something, therefore it can be able to repay itself. What do I mean? You take a loan, you have a piece of property, let's say a land, you go build rental houses. Now, the rental houses are actually bringing in income. That income, either all of it or part of it, of which I suggest a part of it, is actually taken towards the repayment of the loan or the debt. In that regard, on that situation, we say you are on the healthy side of the debt. You don't need to struggle. But I know at the end of the day, this is not why you clicked. Let's go to the category number 2, right? Before you start crucifying me. On the category number 2, this is where you have a debt, or should I call it a loan? You acquired an asset probably that is not generating a cash flow. Therefore, you are required, you yourself, to repay that debt. But you're not struggling at the end of the day. Let's say maybe you have a good salary. Maybe let's say you earn like 100K at the end of the month. You bought yourself a land. Hey, because in Africa we say land is everything. That's what we say, all right? So you acquired a piece of land and you're servicing that loan and you're actually required to pay, say, 30,000 at the end of the month. But you can afford it from your loan. There's the property that you acquired is not generating any income, but you can afford to repay the loan. That's a second class of the debt that you're having, okay? Now, let's go to the point number 3. This is where you all click this video, all right? Now, in this category of the debt, you can't serve it. Can't service it. The debt cannot service itself. Why? Probably you never bought a property. Probably you got a loan and you bought yourself a carpet. Or probably you got a loan and bought yourself a TV. Or probably you got a loan and built your mother's home, and that mother's home is not generating any income. Okay, and that situation, then that specific property, it's actually not generating income, so therefore it cannot pay itself. And on top of that, you who is the owner of that debt, you cannot repay it. And I'm going to give you a very simple case scenario of a client who called me. This guy is actually earning 35,000, and that guy was having the ambition, or was ambitious on acquiring a land, and he did so, but the sort of a repayment per month was way above his punch. You get what I'm saying? At this particular situation, the guy got himself into a very big punch. For example, 20K out of that 5. So you're remaining with 15,000 to survive. In this case scenario, the guy got fired. In that case scenario, what do you think happens? It happens that you cannot be able to raise the 20,000 that you subscribed to towards a repayment of that specific debt. Then what do you think would happen? Probably they're going to come and recapture back their property. You not only do not have a job, but again, in that particular case, you do not have an income, an asset out there. So that case scenario where the debt cannot pay itself and you yourself cannot be able to pay it yourself. Now, the problem is this. What can you do in that case scenario? And what brings that? Let me talk to the people who are not yet into the thing before they get into the thing, before I talk to the people who are already in the thing. For those who are about to get into the thing, ask yourself, this asset that I'm buying, am I able to actually service this asset to a point whereby I will service it until to the end? Number two, this thing that I'm doing, some people usually take loan and build their mom's houses and all those kind of things because you did promise them, once I get a job, hey mom, I'm gonna build you a home, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do the other, and all those kind of things. There's nothing really wrong with that. We love them, we love our parents, we love ourselves. Even some people who takes loan to build their own homes and what have you. Now the question is, in that particular case scenario, what wrong thing did you do? You bought an asset that is not generating income, that cannot be able to pay itself. Another thing, buying or getting a loan to buy the consumables, things that are not generating any income. You take a loan and pay school fees. That's a consumable. However you want to take it, you might say like, hey, it's an investment. Who told you that kids are your retirement plans? If you're taking a loan to pay for your education because you are the guy who is generating the income, that's a different case. Now, this issue of taking a loan and paying the kids school fees, and then later having these sort of emotional things, and in Africa especially, where you view kids as our retirement plans or something of sort. Now, let's go to a case scenario of an individual who actually is in the thing. Now, how do you get yourself out of it? Now, these are the simple steps that I'm going to show you how you can actually manage it and get yourself out of it later. Okay, now the point number one, you're supposed to accept that you are in debt. Accept. I did not say appreciate. Accept. Accepting, saying, come into terms with yourself. Yes, I so and so, I am in debt. Okay, I am in debt. And this debt is actually tough. Fine. Now, what do I do? Now, do this. First of all, organize your debt. Understand your debt. Understand, I owe a bank, I owe a Shylock, I owe a Sacco, I owe blah, 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 I owe a certain friend, I owe a family member. Organize your debt. And when I say organize your debt, you can organize it in an ascending order or a descending order. Just have an outlook of how your debts look like. Just understand, okay, you are already in a ditch. Then understand, configure and understand yourself. How does this ditch look like? Okay, fine. After understanding your debt, I have like 30,000 I owe to a bank, 50,000 I owe to this, 60,000 I owe to this, 10,000 I owe to this, 2,000 I owe to this. There's some of these petty debts that you can actually clear them up and at least give you the zeal and the motivation to go ahead and achieve more. So once you realize there is that small debt that you can actually clear it within a blink of an eye, just shoot it out. Get off the list. Get off the list. There is that, what we call, and then when I say when you organize your debt, then compartmentalize your debt. What do I mean? Treat them individually. Don't put them in one basket and treat it as, this is my debt. No. Say, these are the debts. Compartmentalize your debt. You see, when you compartmentalize is when you treat it individually. And then say, this is a 2,000 debt. Come on, I got some 2,000 in my pocket. I can clear this off. You clear it off. You tick. Guess what happens? Once you see yourself ticking and getting yourself out of that, you get yourself the motivation. You get the zeal. You get that, what do we call that push to actually go ahead and achieve more. All right? Now, that is called, the first thing is organize your debt. Understand your numbers. Okay? Number two, reschedule where possible. What does it mean? Maybe now you can go to this point and ask for the what? For the restructure of that specific debt. And by the way, this one you may think that does not apply. It does apply. Remember when the COVID showed up and a lot of people got themselves into debt? And by the way, the banks did say, hey, guess what, guys? We understand all the institutions are closed, probably your businesses and what have you. Therefore, we can be able to reason with you. Just come on board, tell us how it's going on, and then you see how we can be able to do what? We can be able to do the work. Now, what people do is actually they run away. What you're supposed to do, show up to them. Tell them, hey, guess what, guys? Hey, if you go back to my track record, I was actually doing all good until this BS happened. And hey, here I am. I don't want to run away. I just want us to have a conversation. And maybe you can, even if it means you adding a longer period, maybe it means me paying more money at the end of the day, but at least give me the breathability allowance. Or maybe, hey, you know what, guys, if you can give me a break of maybe, let's say 2 or 3 months, I don't know if it's applicable, then I'm pretty sure I can be able to repay this loan. Hey, guess what, guys? I just experienced a certain short or a certain problem in my business. So if you guys, you can, sort of, go grab something, such kind of talk to them. They are human beings, okay? They are human beings. Go to them. See, when you go to them, does not only show maturity, it also shows responsibility. So go ask them for the restructure and also kind of a thing. Therefore, that means you reschedule. It can actually be in form of a reschedule. It can be form of a break or something of sort. But if you have violated all those, if you have violated all those because maybe things did not go as you anticipated, in that case scenario, you start looking for things that you can be able to do in terms of the asset that you can liquidate if you have them. If you do not have them, in that case scenario, we always say, do that what you can. All right? Do that what you can. And we always say desperate times call for what? Desperate actions. Okay? Sometimes I had a client who called me on board and asked me, hey, Joseph, guess what? Shylocks are on top of me. They want they're asking for 115,000. And guess what, Joseph? Oh, I don't know what I can even do. I got no even money, by the way. I'm barely surviving. So what do you think we can do? And by the way, they did tell me in a week's time they will be here because they've been giving me warning. They're going to set the auctioneers to take all my properties. And when I say properties, I mean like house things and all those kind of things, okay? And I told her, hey, guess what? At this particular case scenario, this is called a desperate times. And guess what it's calling for? A desperate action. And we realized if they showed up to your door, and they take all those things, they're gonna sell them at a throwaway price. I told her, guess what? At this particular point, I would suggest you selling your things by yourself because you're gonna fetch the best price and be able to repay them back. And that's what she did. That's what she did. She sold her stand. She sold her big telly. No, she didn't sell her telly, by the way. She sold her big fridge, a freezer, this kettle. What we call it? I don't even know where we cook on. Those stoving kind of, I don't know what that thing. Ladies can understand what I'm talking about, with all the due respect to ladies. So the point is, I mean, she sold all those, the big recliners and what have you. And guess what? Guess how much she did fetch from her house? 135,000 Kenyan shillings. She was incapable of paying the entire loan. Can you imagine what? Do you know what I told her? No, don't pay the entire amount of money right now. Hey, go give them like 80,000. You're remaining with like sort of 30 or something. The remaining, you can start something for yourself, like a small business somewhere, so that at least you can eat and drink. And that is exactly what she did. And when she paid that amount of money, those guys were like, she has done something. And then you give yourself a breathability allowance. And then you go back yourself. And by the way, she called me recently and told me, hey, guess what, Joseph? By the way, I managed to buy myself a carpet. Yeah, I do not have a recliner, yeah, but at least I'm somewhere, but I'm debt free. I'm sort of close to debt free because I'm also repaying other debts. That is exactly how you do. When you realize you are actually at a desperate corner, that is exactly what you do, guys. All right? Let's go to the last one. Now, do not hide. Come on, do not hide. I usually see some people even faking their death. Yeah. If you think I'm actually being funny here, I'm real. There's some individuals here in Kenya, if you guys go read the news, there's some guys who did hide. You realize you're in a situation whereby you can't pay the debt and you go missing, or you go missing, all right? In the name of you don't want to pay the debts. That's not actually a real or good thing to do, especially when it comes to debt. Be very, very vigilant and careful. Otherwise, debts can get yourself into bigger problems, okay? Now, problem is this. If you do not do what I tell you to do out there. And by the way, if you have a different way or maybe a new idea that we can share with these wonderful viewers of mine, and by the way, thank you for your eyeballs. Make sure that at least you hit that like button and subscribe below, tell me what you think, and comment down below and tell me, hey, Joseph, I was once in debt and this is exactly what I did. That can actually help a lot of people here. Remember, this is a family about finance that I'm creating. And by the way, bring more people on board. And how do you do that? Share these videos to your group, to your WhatsApp, to your chamas and what have you, so that at least we can build this family and move to the next level. Come on, this is our African channel. Let's make it big out there, right? For now, it's a goodbye. Don't forget, my number is always on the description of this specific video if you'd like to have a conversation with me pertaining to those kind of services, all right? For just a cup of coffee's price. And don't forget, you can as well grab my booklets about investments. For now, it's a goodbye. See you in the next one.